Vice President Biden is set to resume debt talks tomorrow in the first of multiple meetings planned for this week. Will Republicans blink and allow for some new taxes to get done? Here to discuss, radio talk show host Neal Boortz. Neal, it's a pleasure. Welcome back to Freedom Watch. You and I have nearly the same view about taxes, but does the president seriously think, do the Democrats actually think that they can raise this issue and that taxes could possibly get through this Congress? Isn't it dead on arrival in the House of Representatives?
The Democrats will never give up on the idea of raising taxes because it appeals to their base. It appeals to the wealth envy base. Now, get a cup of coffee, Judge. Let me run with some of the things I've already heard here. First of all, Barack Obama failing to show leadership, as Senator Johnson just pointed out. Let me remind you that just before he was sworn in, Valerie Jarrett, his lead advisor, said, "We will be ready to rule from day one." She didn't say lead. She said rule. He's a ruler. He's not a leader. He sends Joe Biden in here to these budget talks so that he can escape accountability. And you talk about him watching our fiscal situation. Barack Obama watching our fiscal situation and our economy is like a chicken watching a card trick. This guy doesn't have an idea in the world what is going on out there.
All right, let me stop you because the image of the chicken and the card trick is in my mind. It's a very clever one, and I appreciate it. Shouldn't the Congress simply say, we're going to force you to lead? We are not going to raise the debt ceiling. The Republicans in the House can do this on their own. The Republicans in the Senate, where they can filibuster and require 60 votes, and they have 47, can do this on their own. Are they susceptible to giving in to this president and his doomsday predictions of what will happen out of the mouth of Tim Geithner and Joe Biden, not out of his own mouth, as you pointed out, and cave?
Well, first of all, the Republicans could say, with all due respect, Mr. Biden, go back to the Naval Observatory, to your home. Mr. Obama, get over here and talk with us. You're the ultimate decider in the White House. We want to negotiate with you. And yes, Judge, the Republicans are absolutely prone to cave in on this because we have a lot of voices on Wall Street, most of the voices in the media, and of course the president and the Democrats in Congress telling the Republicans or trying to paint the picture that if you don't give us our increase in the debt ceiling, we're going to default and America is going to dissolve into chaos. The credit cards are maxed out.
All right, let's go back to economics.
Minimum payments.
Let's go back to Economics 101. I know it's a field that you spend your career explaining for your listeners so they can understand. Inflation is moving upward. One of the reasons inflation is moving upward is because the Federal Reserve prints money and loans it to the federal government, and the federal government spends it. Isn't inflation likely to be worse a year from now when the president is actively, aggressively campaigning for re-election than it is today if he doesn't change course, stop the borrowing, and slow the spending? Why doesn't he understand that?
Well, here's another card trick. And that is, if we were measuring inflation today the way they measured it when Jimmy Carter was president of the United States, the inflation rate would be into double digits. They changed the basis of measuring inflation in this country in order to save the embarrassment of an actual high inflation rate. But the people out there buying the eggs and the milk and the groceries and paying their rent, they know what is going on, and inflation is going to dissolve our savings and eat us up, but it's a way for them to monetize the debt and try to get out of some of this problem.
Before I let you go, were you surprised the other night when watching the Republican debate when every single one of them said, more or less and to different degrees, but for the most part on the same side of this issue, it's time to bring the troops home. We can cut defense spending as well as domestic spending. Were you surprised to hear that, Neal?
Yeah, I was, and the natural reaction is going to be, oh yeah, you'll say that when there's a Democrat in the White House. Why weren't you saying that when there was a Republican in the White House? But still, if you look at Afghanistan, we've accomplished our goals. Right. Afghanistan has never been centrally governed successfully. I don't know why we figure that we're going to be the ones to create that.
Neal Boortz, it is always a pleasure, and you're always welcome here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, sir.